So episode 7 of Star Trek Picard. Here I am with my review for you. Come and join me as we venture into the goings-on of this episode. This episode's entitled Dominion. What more needs to be said? Let's get into it. So welcome back to the channel, everyone. Welcome back to my weekly Star Trek series. Yes, I'm reviewing Picard on a weekly basis. Also, I review Strange New Worlds when that's on, Discovery when that's on, stuff like that. So come and join me. Hit the subscribe button, leave a comment, all that sort of stuff. But this episode here, episode 7 of Picard, wow. After last week's episode... Last week's episode was fantastic. Do I need to go back and mention that? All the callbacks to Star Trek and all this sort of a thing. It was brilliant. It really was. Does this episode continue that trend? Well, spoilers ahead. We go into it, yes. We go into it with some callbacks. The Titan, we find, is hiding in a salvage yard. It's sort of keeping low-key, out of the way. And those on board are reaching out to other individuals, or they have been trying to find anyone that they can assist them, anyone that isn't compromised by the changelings. And this sees Seven, with everyone else hid off to the sides, talking to none other than Tuvok. Yes, Tuvok's back. Fantastic to see Tuvok again. Brilliant stuff. And they're scanning his voice and all this sort of a thing to try to establish whether he is a changeling or not. And lo and behold, after a little bit of subtle play on the part of Seven and things that she said, she comes to determine that yes, actually he is a changeling. So Tim Russ returned for that role. We don't know what's happened to the real Tuvok or anything like that, but it was nice to see Tim Russ again in Star Trek. The episode goes on. Jack Crusher's having a few more episodes, shall we say, but in doing so, he's kind of sort of hearing the thoughts of LaForge's daughter. Obviously, they've got a little thing going on. Now, this episode here, it's more of a bottle episode. It's sort of slowed down compared to last week. We get a lot more with Data lore, where Picard and Geordi have to turn him back on to try and get some information out of him, trying to find out why the changelings wanted Picard's body, and they come to the conclusion that they're trying to formulate or make a version of Picard that will get through everything with Jack Crusher's blood involved and all this sort of a thing, and get through any scans and all that. Obviously, this big event, Starfleet event, is fast approaching, and the idea is for stuff to go down there. Now, we have that sort of split personality between Data Lore, and we get Brent Spiner giving a great performance when he flicks between one and the other. You know, you see that juxtaposition in his persona. It's fantastic. Brent Spiner does a great job with this role, dual identity role. As the episode progresses, Picard seems to have a plan where we can turn things to our advantage, so he says. And this then, it kind of bothered me a bit, because the episode then sort of has a time jump. It has a quick cut from him saying we've got a plan to this plan then being enacted, shall we say? Not reenacted. It's been acted upon, and the Shriek turns up with its captain, and they see the ship there. They scan the area. They deem that the ship has been in battle. The ship with another Starfleet vessel. That the ship has been damaged. So they board it, and all the life signs on board are scattered. But it's all this plan that Picard has come up with to get them on board. And the Shriek captain comes on board with you know, a team of whatever people they are that you want to call with her, and they go round the ship. She sees Jack. She gets captured, and we delve into her background, we delve into her history during the Dominion War and all this sort of thing. And she'd been captured, and she'd been experimented on with some other changelings. They're all in like these test tubes and things like this. She manages to escape, and she takes on the form of her captor. So that's who she looks like. She looks like the person that has done all these awful experiments on her. But one of these experiments is injecting them with something that gives them this ability to stay in one form for a long time. That's where this comes from. This comes from Starfleet and all this sort of a thing. As it goes on, the ship gets overtaken by her. There's a turnaround of events. There's stuff going on with Data, Lore, where Lore gets control. He gets control of the ship and all this sort of stuff. Interesting scene at the end where Jack is sort of in. He's with LaForge's daughter. They're trapped, and they're. He's doing movements and she's doing them at the same time as him. It's like they're on this wavelength. Like there's this thing between them. This connection of the mind and all this sort of thing. Where that's going, who knows? It's anyone's guess. You tell me down below. But yeah, so that's the ins and outs of this episode. Not so many callbacks as last week, like I said. There are a lot of callbacks in the sounds. The sound design of this series is fantastic. You know, there is musical cues. There's special effects sounds, like when they're reading for life signs on board the ship. It's the same noise that was used in Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. You know, the signalling of the crew, the pip sound and all that sort of a thing. All fantastic stuff there. I think this episode kind of toned it down a bit from last week's. We were given a high, and this one's sort of gone back to, like I said, it's more of a bottle episode, all contained, ship contained. But nonetheless, it is still very good. It's still fantastic Star Trek. Where is this going? I don't know. Have you got any thoughts out there? What you think's coming? Where you think it's going? We're left with a sort of tease of let's find out the truth about Jack and where Jack came from and what he's all about. So that'll probably be delved into next week, hopefully, because there's only 3 more episodes left, sadly. I liked it where Picard was contemplating. It looked like he was contemplating actually killing her, you know, the Shriek's captain, Vadik, is it? Is that her name, Vadik? Has my mind gone blank and given me something else? I don't know. But there we go. But no, wonderful episode. Very strong series. And yeah, unfortunately, like 3 episodes left. So I will be there up till the end. Let me know your thoughts down below. Let's have a nice discussion about this episode of Star Trek. Yeah, and I'll be back next week, and I'm sure you will too. So I'll see you then. Take care all, and goodbye.